August 1844. The Piney Woods of East Texas, Shelby County. Two groups of armed men face each other across a dusty road. Maybe 50 on each side. Maybe more. They're Texans. Neighbors. Some fought together at San Jacinto. Now they're about to kill each other. Someone fires. Then everyone fires. The forest explodes with gun smoke and screaming. Men fall. Horses bolt. Blood soaks into the East Texas soil. This isn't a war of nations. This isn't Texans versus Mexicans or Americans versus indigenous peoples. This is Texan versus Texan. Neighbor versus neighbor. A 5-year bloodbath that killed dozens, displaced hundreds, and turned East Texas into a lawless hell where justice died and only survival mattered. This is the Regulator-Moderator War. The conflict most Texas history books skip. The war fought in the shadows of the pine trees, where both sides claimed righteousness and both sides drowned in blood. And before it ended, it would take the president of Texas himself to ride into the chaos and force peace at gunpoint. To understand how East Texas exploded, you need to understand what East Texas was in the late 1830s. Shelby County, Harrison County, the Piney Woods region. It's frontier, recently settled. The population is growing fast. Land speculators, farmers, drifters. Some are upstanding citizens building communities. Others are running from something. The law back east. Debts. Enemies. Texas has just won independence in 1836. The Republic of Texas exists but barely functions. Law enforcement is aspirational. There's a court system on paper. Sheriffs. Judges. But in practice, in the remote eastern counties, law is whatever you can enforce with a gun. Land titles are chaos. Spanish grants, Mexican grants, Republic of Texas grants, overlapping claims, disputed boundaries, forged documents. Everyone's claiming land. Everyone's fighting over it. And there's no functional system to resolve disputes. Into this mess come two types of men. Those who want to establish order on their terms, and those who want to profit from chaos. By 1839, Shelby County is a tinderbox. Multiple feuds simmering, multiple gangs forming, multiple land disputes ready to explode into violence. The spark comes from a simple conflict: a counterfeiting ring, a corrupt sheriff, an angry mob, and two factions that decide they're the only ones who can restore justice. They call themselves the Regulators and the Moderators. Both claim to fight corruption. Both claim moral authority. Neither is right. Neither is wrong. They're just violent, and they're about to turn East Texas into a battlefield. The origins of the conflict are murky, disputed, but most accounts point to a man named Charles Jackson. Jackson's a merchant in Shelby County. He's also suspected of counterfeiting, bad money circulating through East Texas. Jackson is one of the sources, or so people believe. Sheriff John M. Bradley investigates, but Bradley himself is corrupt, or incompetent, or both. He's accused of protecting criminals, of taking bribes, of ignoring crimes by his friends while prosecuting his enemies. A group of citizens decides they've had enough. If the law won't function, they'll create their own justice. They form what they call a regulating company, the Regulators. Their goal: clean up corruption by any means necessary. In 1840, the Regulators move against Charles Jackson. They arrest him, extrajudicially. No warrant, no trial. Just a mob with guns claiming they're enforcing justice. Jackson's friends are outraged. They form their own group, the Moderators. Their stated goal: moderate the Regulators. Stop vigilante justice. Protect citizens from mob rule. Both groups claim legitimacy. Both claim they're the good guys. Both start recruiting. Within months, Nearly every man in Shelby County has picked a side, or been forced to pick a side. Neutrality becomes impossible. If you're not with one faction, you're assumed to be with the other, and both sides start killing. The violence starts with ambushes, assassinations, men killed on roads, in their fields, outside their homes, shot from hiding. No warning, no chance. In 1841, a Regulator leader named Joseph Goodbread is murdered, shot from ambush while riding home. The Regulators blame the Moderators. They retaliate. A Moderator sympathizer is found dead, then another. The cycle accelerates. Each killing demands revenge. Each death justifies the next. The original disputes, counterfeiting, corrupt sheriffs, land titles, get buried under blood feuds. Personal vendettas, family honor. It's not about justice anymore. It's about survival. Neither side wears uniforms. There are no clear leaders, no formal structure. It's chaos. A man might be a regulator, or he might just be accused of being a regulator. The accusation is enough. He's killed. By 1842, Shelby County is in open warfare. Not battles, not organized military engagements, just constant, grinding, terroristic violence. A man is shot. His family retaliates. Their target's family retaliates. On and on. Homes are burned. Families are driven out. Women and children flee to Louisiana or deeper into Texas. The population of Shelby County drops as people abandon the area. Too dangerous, too lawless. The courts try to function. Judges hold sessions. But witnesses are too scared to testify. Juries are intimidated. Verdicts are ignored. A man can be acquitted in court and lynched that night by the faction that wanted him dead. Sheriff John M. Bradley, caught between the factions, is essentially powerless. He can't arrest anyone without one faction or the other threatening him. He becomes a figurehead. The law exists on paper, but not in practice. Some men try to stay neutral, refuse to join either side. They're targeted by both, accused of secretly supporting the enemy. Their neutrality is treated as betrayal. By 1843, conflict has spread beyond Shelby County, Harrison County, Panola County. The violence metastasizes. Regulators and moderators are operating across East Texas, raiding, killing, terrorizing. The Republic of Texas government in Austin is aware of the situation, but they're overwhelmed. Texas is dealing with Mexican raids, Comanche conflicts, bankruptcy, and the struggle for international recognition. A local feud in the Piney Woods isn't a priority until it becomes impossible to ignore. 1844. The Regulator-Moderator. War reaches its peak. It's not a war in the traditional sense. There are no armies, no uniforms, no front lines. Just armed mobs roaming East Texas, killing anyone associated with the other side. Both factions have evolved, or devolved, into criminal militias. The original justifications are gone. Now it's just violence, power, control. The regulators control some towns. The moderators control others. In disputed areas, both sides raid constantly. Families live in terror. A knock on the door at night could be either faction. Either way, it might mean death. Women and children aren't directly targeted. Usually, but they're caught in the crossfire. Homes are burned with families inside. Men are killed in front of their wives and children. The psychological trauma is immense. Some families split, brothers on opposite sides, fathers and sons divided. The conflict tears apart the social fabric of East Texas. Trust disappears. Community collapses. Everyone is suspicious of everyone. In San Augustine, a regulator mob takes over the town. They hold a kangaroo court. Try several moderator sympathizers. Execute them. The bodies are left hanging as a warning. The Moderators retaliate. They raid a Regulator stronghold, burn it, kill everyone they find. The violence is escalating beyond control. By mid-1844, the death toll is staggering. No one knows exactly how many have died. 30, 50, more. Bodies are buried in unmarked graves. Some are never found. The true number is lost to history. The Republic of Texas government can't ignore it anymore. This isn't a local feud. This is anarchy. A breakdown of all civil authority. A cancer that's spreading. President Sam Houston decides to act. Personally, July 1844. President Sam Houston is in his second term. He's dealt with wars, bankruptcy, political chaos. But the Regulator-Moderator War is different. It's Texans killing Texans, and it's making Texas look like a failed state. Houston issues a proclamation, declares Shelby County and surrounding areas in a state of insurrection, authorizes military force to restore order, calls up militia from other counties, men who aren't involved in the feud, who can act as neutral enforcers. Houston personally leads a militia force into East Texas. It's a risky move. He's the president, but he needs to show he's serious, that the Republic will not tolerate this chaos. August 1844. Houston arrives in Shelby County with about 500 militiamen, heavily armed, backed by the authority of the Republic. He summons the leaders of both factions, demands they meet with him, explain themselves, justify the bloodshed. The meeting is tense. Leaders from both sides arrive, armed, suspicious, ready for betrayal. Houston doesn't negotiate. He dictates. He tells them the war's over. By his authority as president, he's declaring martial law. Anyone who continues fighting will be arrested, tried for treason, executed if necessary. He backs this up with force. His militia patrols the county, arrests anyone carrying weapons without authorization, occupies key towns, imposes curfews. But Houston also offers amnesty, a way out, if both sides agree to a truce, if they agree to submit disputes to legal courts, if they agree to disarm and go home. Then he'll pardon past crimes, let them rebuild their lives. It's a carrot and stick approach. Accept peace and be forgiven. Refuse and face the full power of the Republic. Most men accept. They're tired, scared. The violence has cost them friends, family, security. The chance to end it without being hanged, they take it. But some refuse. Hardliners, men too deep in blood to stop. Men who've lost everything and have nothing but revenge. Houston makes examples of them. A few are arrested, tried, one or two are executed. It's harsh, but it's necessary. Houston is sending a message. The Republic's authority is real. The law will be enforced. Slowly, over weeks, the violence decreases. Men go home, bury their dead, try to rebuild. The war isn't ended by a treaty or a final battle. It just stops. Exhausted, spent, crushed by superior force. By September 1844, the Regulator-Moderator War is over. Officially. In practice, the grudges remain. The distrust remains. But the open warfare stops. Houston withdraws his militia, leaves behind a warning. If the violence restarts, he'll return. With more men. And no mercy. It works. The violence doesn't restart. The feud fades. Slowly, painfully, but it fades. The Regulator-Moderator. War leaves scars, deep scars, on people, on communities, on East Texas itself. The death toll is disputed. At least 30 confirmed deaths, possibly 50 or more. Many bodies were never found. Some killings were never reported. The true number is lost, but it's not just the deaths. It's the displaced families, the burned homes, the destroyed trust, the generational trauma. Children who grew up watching their fathers murdered. Women who lost husbands and sons. Communities that will never fully heal. East Texas gains a reputation. lawless, violent, dangerous. For decades, people from other parts of Texas view the Piney Woods with suspicion. That's where the Regulator-Moderator War happened, where Texans turned on each other. The conflict also shapes Texas law enforcement. The Republic, and later the state, realizes it can't allow local feuds to spiral into warfare. Law enforcement is professionalized. The Texas Rangers are given more authority to intervene in local conflicts. Courts are strengthened. But it also reveals something uncomfortable about Texas. The frontier mythology celebrates independence, self-reliance, taking justice into your own hands. But the Regulator-Moderator War shows what happens when everyone does that. Chaos, blood, suffering. Both sides claimed they were fighting for justice. Both claimed the other side was corrupt. Both were probably right. Both were definitely wrong. Because justice can't exist in a blood feud, in a cycle of revenge, in a world where every death demands another death. That's not justice. That's just violence wearing a righteous mask. The survivors of the war don't talk about it much. It's too painful, too shameful. Families that were divided stay divided. Some move away, start over somewhere else, try to forget it. Historians largely ignore the Regulator-Moderator War for decades. It doesn't fit the Texas mythology. It's not a heroic last stand, not a war for independence. Just neighbors killing neighbors over disputes that in hindsight seem trivial, but it matters, because it's real. It's part of Texas history, the uncomfortable part, the part that reveals the cost of lawlessness. The price of vigilante justice, the danger of letting grievances spiral out of control. Today, if you drive through Shelby County, you won't find monuments to the Regulator-Moderator War. No historical markers listing the dead. No museums dedicated to the conflict. There are a few gravestones, scattered, unmarked mostly. Men buried where they fell, or in family plots with simple stones that don't mention how they died. The pine forests are still there. Same trees were their descendants that witnessed the ambushes, the killings, the terror. They don't remember, but the land does, in the way that land always remembers violence. Some families in East Texas still know the stories, passed down, whispered. My great-great-grandfather was a regulator, or a moderator, killed by one or the other. The details blur over generations, but the pain remains. The Regulator-Moderator War is a footnote in most Texas history books. A paragraph, maybe a page. Overshadowed by the Alamo, San Jacinto, the Civil War, the big, clean narratives. But for the people who lived through it, it was everything. 5 years of terror, of not knowing if you'd survive the night, of watching your community tear itself apart, of participating in violence you'd never imagined yourself capable of. And in the end, nothing was gained. No one won. Both sides lost. The only victory was survival. And even that felt hollow. Texas was forged by battles. That's the mythology. San Jacinto, the Alamo, glorious conflicts against external enemies, heroes and villains clearly defined. But Texas was also forged by wars like this. Wars fought in the shadows, where neighbor killed neighbor, where justice died and only violence remained, where both sides claimed righteousness and both drowned in blood. The Regulator-Moderator. War is a mirror, and what it reflects is uncomfortable. It shows that Texans aren't inherently noble. That independence can become anarchy. That vigilante justice is just another name for revenge. That the frontier was built on more than courage and determination. It was built on violence. And sometimes that violence turned inward. Sam Houston stopped the war, forced peace, But he couldn't erase what happened. Couldn't bring back the dead. Couldn't heal the wounds. All he could do was end it, and hope Texas learned something from the carnage. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. But the lesson is there, in the unmarked graves, in the forgotten names, in the war that most Texans have never heard of, the Regulator-Moderator War, when East Texas tore itself apart, and no one was right. Thanks for watching Texas Tales. This was one of the most obscure conflicts in Texas history, the Regulator-Moderator War, a 5-year bloodbath that most people have never heard of. If this story made you think, hit that like button and subscribe. We tell the stories Texas forgot. The uncomfortable ones, the violent ones, the ones that don't fit the mythology. Drop a comment. Had you heard of the Regulator-Moderator War? Why do you think it's been largely forgotten? And what other hidden conflicts in Texas history should we explore? This is Texas Tales, where we dig into the shadows, where legends are questioned, and where the truth is always more complicated than the myth. Until next time, y'all, remember, history isn't just the glorious battles. It's also the wars fought in the dark, the ones we'd rather forget. Take care.